So, other new things, I'll quickly jump around. New Distress marker storage tin. Holds 70 markers. Even though there's only 61 colors, I wanted room in there that you could add a water brush or two. Of course, we know that the markers are supposed to be stored horizontal. That's why I did the little window. So when it's sitting on your shelf, you can see that there's markers. I prefer to color from can, so I like it sitting upright, but I know a lot of people like angled coloring as a palette. So the tin is also designed to be laid down, so it's going to provide that angle that you can pull colors from. So depending on how you like to color, that's why we designed an angled lid versus a straight on lid for that. So that's the marker storage tin. Some other new things, we have new mixed media palettes in the Archival line. So all of us as designers, we're all jealous of Wendy. No, we all like to use a waterproof ink for something, whether we're doing watercolor or stamping on paint or anything like that. So Ranger has allowed us to create our own mixed media palette. So it's 4 individual colors of the Archival formulation in each designer's palette. So my colors I chose: Hickory Smoke, Vintage Photo, Ground Espresso, and Black Soot. Di, of course, has a vibrant palette. Dina has a palette that she wants to stamp in. So it's a really nice way to use Archival in a different way. Now, if you're going to work with this, I'll just tell you real quick, if you have a stamp,
5 minutes.
If you have a stamp that's going to go onto a block, you just have to remember to stick in your quadrant. So you have to kind of go like that, go like that, go like that, go like that. So hopefully this will be the catalyst of other Archivals. I'm not sure. I hope it is. Another thing that I want to remind you of when you guys are walking around before you leave, definitely check out the swatch board for the Distress Crayons, because one of the key features, besides that they work on papers, they also work great on metal. So you can color in your metals and they're going to dry on your metals. So any of your charms that you want to highlight and accent, you can easily fill in that detail of any of your charms and wipe it right off. And more importantly, they are stampable, meaning I can stamp on top of them, not with. That's the biggest difference, is that unlike other pigments where you can color on to the stamp and mist it, these do not work that way. They do not, because remember, I wanted them to, once they were dry, be able to ink over the top of, so a different property. All right, some other new surfaces. We also have wood grain cardstock. This is a 111-pound cardstock that we can watercolor with a really cool wood grain texture, which means that I can apply paint and ink over the top, or just regular ink to create some really cool effects. It's got a great texture, so I'll pass some pieces around. You can kind of scratch your nail over it to feel it. It's a beautiful, beautiful texture. Other exciting things, because now I have like 3 minutes, we did introduce the Picket Fence Distress ink pad. All last year, everyone was like, the new color's white, the new color's white. I'm like, but we already have white. We have white in a marker, a stain, a spray stain, and a paint, and a marker, so it wouldn't really be new. So we just needed the ink pad, and so we did. And what makes this different, this is still a felt pad. So I can stamp with this, I can blend with this, and it will react with water the same way Distress does. But the one thing, it is not a glycerin-based ink. So it's going to do all that cool wicking that Distress does, all that immediate blending, all that great stamping, but it's dry, even though it's a pigment. So you don't have to heat set it, you don't have to do anything with it. Yeah, and it's a felt pad, so it's not that squishy foam pad, which is what I really love. All right, some other things. We've done mini spray stains. That's new to the line. We've taken the stains. We've done, I know, cute factor, mini 1-ounce spray stain. We've done that just in 12 colors to see if people are going to have that same love as they did for the mini Distress inks. I know I will, because when you start taking a lot of sprays in your bag, it's a lot. So little 1 ounce is very cute. And then one of our favorites are the Mica Sprays. So we were able to take our Perfect Pearl Mist formulation, because they discontinued Perfect Pearl Mist, which we were all very sad, and we are like, but I like these colors, and Wendy's like, but I like these colors, and we're like, okay, well, each of you can pick your 3. We'll tweak the colors to your palette, and we'll put them in a smaller bottle, and that's what these Mica Sprays are. So what these are, this is just going to be that pigment without any colorant underneath. So when you put it on a surface, it's going to give you that pearlescent shimmer. The nice thing about the formulation of this, I think that we all like, Diane loves it, I love it, is because this does not react with any of our mediums. So even though Distress is very sensitive to water, if I have a Distress background, I can spray the Mica Spray over it and it will not re-wet my Distress ink. It will not re-wet dilutions, which are all very fugitive products that are super sensitive to moisture. That's what's great about this particular formulation, is it's not just perfect pearls in water that we've done. This is a resin, so it really evaporates quickly. So we have sets of 3. So my set is tarnished brass, antique bronze. Did you pull them all out, Wendy? Thanks, right there. Look at that. Brushed pewter, antique bronze, and tarnished brass. So I've got like the grungy metals. Yeah, and I really love them. because you can see as they dry, they just become even more and more sparkly, and you can hit this with the heat tool. So that's really one of the fun things. Let's see, anything else? We have new surfaces, alcohol ink UPO, which I'm not going to be able to get into, but if you're here throughout the show, you've got to check it out. If you're not familiar with UPO, we have teamed up with UPO, so it's legit. Oh yeah, you and me both, but in the art world, it's pretty expensive because it's usually in giant sheets, giant pads, and I'm like, I don't think a card maker is going to drop like 20 bucks for a pad of paper, but it's a synthetic paper, which means it's totally plastic. Wow. So when you use alcohol ink on this, all of the cool things that I did with like the archival resist and creating landscapes and all of that, that's what's brilliant about UPO is it does not adhere or submerge into the surface. It will dry on the surface the same way it works on paper, but it will allow me to completely play, stamp, stencil, all of that. So if you have time today or tomorrow, come by and watch the demos because it's awesome. It's available in white as well as translucent. So even though they look the same in the package, one is opaque, but I also wanted one that I could still color, but I would be able to put on a surface and see through it. Because I would love to do like, you know, vintage color alcohol inks and lay it over a photo and see a stamped image underneath it. So really excited about that. So there's so many like crazy cool new things that you're doing in the Ranger world. It's only the beginning. You've got so many other designers to go and check out. So any questions before they shuffle you guys on?
Actually, I had a whole list, but you answered most of them.
Oh,
so.
good.
Good job.
Is there any I didn't answer?
I don't think so.
Okay. So what we've done, I believe that as an industry, we evolve. Our creativity evolves, my styles evolve, and I was a huge fan of the dabbers, no doubt. When I was using them on foam stamps, painting edges of chipboard, I wanted that dabber top, but I think my creative styles have evolved as many have, where we're really embracing mixed media, painting journals and canvas and using baby wipes in our hands, and I found myself really not using the dabber as much. I was just pouncing the paint on just to get paint on my craft sheet. And I'm like, you know what, that dabber thing, and cost-wise was a huge deal. We were able to reduce the price of the paints. So we released just flip tops last year where people that had the dabbers could buy the flip tops and replace them. But I'm like, I just want to just make flip tops and sell the dabber as a replacement if they want to turn one into a dabber, because it's going to reduce the cost and it's going to be easier. So this is the test of that theory, because they don't agree with me. He's right there, but they don't agree with me. They're like, I don't know. I love them. So the flip top, it's actually a design flip top. It's not just a regular one. Notice it's not flat on the top, so you're not going to get that ring of paint. It actually has a spout. The top stays open, so it's got that little spring. So when you flip it up, it's not going to flip open. The paint doesn't just pour out. You squeeze the bottle to dispense as much paint. When you let it go, it's done. It's a spout, so it doesn't drip down the side, and it's got a plug here that when you close it, it goes right inside there and makes this completely leak-proof. So it's not just a flip top, it's like a flip top that we need because distress paint is incredibly fluid. So if you just had a hole there and you flipped it over, game on with the paint. So I just think that, I hope that all of our paints go to this.
Thank you, Tim.
He's like, please stop talking.
Can we also just make sure that we give everyone, just like rotate within the group?